Hi, welcome to 7th session on SAP CRM technical training. In this session, we are going to cover demo part on EEWB and AET. We would see how to add a field with EEWB and AET and what are the differences and which tool to prefer for doing what. To start with, we will look at how to add a field to EEWB. So to open the EEWB tool, the T code is EEWB. EWB stands for Easy Enhancement Workbench, and this was the tool used prior to 7.0 to do any kind of enhancements to the standard business objects. So I'm opening the tool EWB. So you see here we have no projects right now. So to create any enhancement in EWB, the key thing is creation of project. So we need to create a project and then create an extension. So the project here stores all our enhancements, and it can store multiple enhancements for a single business object, and all the enhancements done as a part of this project are transported at one go. We cannot transport parts of these enhancements done for a particular business object. So to start with, we will go ahead and create a project. So I'm giving a package over here. Also it is asking for a transport request over here. So right now the project is created. You can also select the documentation tab and give a documentation if required. So we will go ahead and create two transport requests and assign them here. Here I already have two transport requests. I'll pick them. So this is for workbench. So right click, transport request, and give the workbench request over here, and customizing request below it. So now we have given the transport request. Now we will go ahead and create the extension. Create extension. So we need to give a meaningful name over here in practical scenarios. As of now I am giving Z test extension, then test extension. Here we need to select the exact business object which we need to enhance. Right now I am selecting complaints. Then here you need to select the part which you need to enhance. So I am selecting customer H over here. So click OK. So this wizard has opened up for us. So it says the wizard for new fields in business transaction. As I told, the wizard which will open up here will differ based on the different business object you select. Since the complaint is a business transaction, that's the reason it has opened up the wizard which enhances the business transaction. In case if it is a business partner, it would open up a different wizard. So this is the problem with EWB. The wizard which it opens up is different for different objects which we select. So click on continue. So you can enter a title. So here you need to select the business transaction types which you need to enhance. So this is the one which we are enhancing right now, CRM complaints transaction. Click on continue. So you can give a field label, say it's easy test complaint, and data type is, we will say a character string, and the length we will say as 10. So this is what we are setting now. Then it is asking us to assign the field to either head or item. So since here we are heading to only the header, so it is proposing administration header. So it's actually not proposing the customer H, it's proposing the administration header, means BT admin H. So here it is trying to give us the optimized field for this. If it is a customer H extension, then the field will be added to all the transaction types. So let us keep this as administration header right now. Click continue. So here it is asking whether it is relevant for R3 BA and such. So we will not check any of these. Click continue and complete. So this has to add a field with name ZZ test underscore complaint. Within the administration header, which is nothing but BT admin H. You will understand all this terminology when we look into the CRM data model. So that is yet to be looked into. So right now it is adding a field to administration header, which is nothing but a table which stores all the header data for every transaction type. Here the table is crmd underscore admin underscore h for the header details, and likewise crmd underscore admin underscore I for the item details. So we would open up the table. So here the table is crmd underscore order ADM h for header details and crmd underscore order ADM I for item details. So we are opening up the table for header details to see the details which are added. So let's see if the project is completed. I think it's still processing, so let's wait for a few minutes. And once the extension is added, it will display all the parts added to this extension within the extension hierarchy. So once the extension is added, we would look at all the parts which are added in the extension hierarchy. So we can expand the extension and look into all the parts which are added as a part of this extension. And now this field is going to be added to crmd order ADM underscore h, which is the table for header details, and likewise we also have crmd underscore order ADM underscore I for item details. Since we have selected only the header here, so it will be added to the header details. I think it's taking a lot of time. Let's go and check the DB table. So let us display and search for complaints. So here you see the field which has been added. So it has added a field with name ZZ order ADM underscore H underscore 0401 with the data element for it created, and it's a char 10 and 10 as the length, and the short description of ZZ test underscore complete. So this is the short description it has given. We can also modify this by going to the data element which it is created. So finally it has responded and is asking for a transport request. So this is the field which it has created, and it's of char 10. So now this is the project which we created, under which we created a text extension as an extension. Under that we have a task where we added this particular field. So if you see, the field details are here. Description is test, field is ZZ complaint, and its length is its type is char, and its length is 10. So you can click on this particular tasks and see where all it has enhanced it, which all tables are modified and everything. And here the status is processed successfully. So this is how we add a field using EEWB, and as you have seen, it is a tedious process, in the sense we have to go through the wizard, different steps, and you need to know the technical names for most of the objects. And as I told you, the wizard will differ for each object type. So if you select BP, the wizard will be different. If you select BT, the wizard will be different. Likewise, for different business objects, the wizards will be different, and that's the reason it is something which is only used by technical consultants and not used by any other functional team or power users, etc., because they need to know the technical details before using this tool. Whereas AET is a new tool given by SAP, which is an easy to use tool. It's also similar to this, but the wizard it opens up is same for all the business objects which we are going to enhance. So that's the difference between EEWB and AET, and AET supports more business objects than what EEWB is supporting. So that's one more reason to use AET over EEWB. To make a note of it, with 7.0 version, SAP has introduced AET to add the fields, but there are two types of extensions we are talking about, a field extension and a table extension. So the field extension is available in 7.2, but the table extension is not available in 7.2. From EHP1, the table extension is also available in AET. So in 7.2, if you need to do a field enhancement, you can use AET, and if you need to do a table enhancement, then you need to again use EEWB. And in EHP1, you can start using AET for either field extension or table extension. So now let's go ahead and look at AET tool and how to add a field using AET tool. So now we will look at how to add a field using AET. So we will add the field to complaints itself, which we have done with EEWB. So we'll go to complaint. So before doing addition with AET, we have few settings to be done in the system. We would go ahead and look at that before doing this. So to do the settings, we have a T code AXTSYS. So this is the T code where we will do the settings which are required. So here you can see that there is a package which is defined, and a generation prefix and a namespace. So here this package is for storing the extensions which we are doing, and generation prefix is the prefix which is used for all the generated elements created by us, and the namespace is always Z. So once you give the package name and click enter, automatically this Z will be picked. You do not need to give it, or you would not be able to give it because it is disabled. It will pick based on the package first letter, and in general we will give the Z package here. So this is the kind of basic setting we need to do before going ahead with adding a field through AET. So now we will go back to complaint screen. So here we can select any of the transaction type. This is only for creation, so we are just going ahead with the creation screen to open up the tool. So to open up the AET tool, we are trying to create a complaint and go to the complaint screen so that we can open up the tool. So you can either create a complaint using a reference document or without using a reference document. So I'm just going ahead without a reference document. Reference document is generally required when they have a complaint against a particular document or particular item which is sold. So now click on show configurable areas to open up the config tool. So to open up the AET tool, you have to click on show configurable areas, then click on a particular area, which would open up the configuration tool first. Then here you have two buttons, create new field and show enhancements. So either of these buttons will take us to the AET tool. So I am clicking on show enhancements first. So right now I am clicking on show enhancements. So it will show up all the enhancements done. So here it is showing our enhancement which we have done with EEWB ZZ test underscore complaint, but it is showing it as a manual field. Normally if you add a field through AET, it will have an enhancement ID which is mentioned over here, but if you add a field using EEWB, it will mention it as manual field because it is not added through AET. In later versions, in EHB 1 or 2, SAP has also provided an option of migrating the EEW fields to AET. That option is not present in this 7.0 system. So now we will go back. So we also have an option of creating new field by clicking on create new field either here, or you can go inside by clicking show enhancements and click on new here. So it doesn't make any difference. Both of them will take you to the screen where we can create a new field. So we will go back and create it from there. So create new field. So now we have to select the part which we need to enhance. So system has enhanced order idiom H before. Now we can select customer H. So the difference is normally the order idiom H and order idiom I are the standard structures which are provided, and customer H and customer I are provided for customer extensions. So the initial delivered SAP standard will not have any fields within customer H and customer I, whereas order idiom H and order idiom I are the key structures. So they are the administration structures and they are always filled, whereas customer H and customer I are not mandatory. They might be filled or they might not be filled. So I will select customer H, and the advantage we have when we select customer H is it is available across the transaction types. Even order idiom H is available across the transaction types, but there are also specific BOs which will only enhance that particular business object. For example, if you enhance sales data or service underscore H, it is only available in the service transactions, whereas when you enhance customer H or order item H, it is available across the transactions. So right now we are selecting the customer H, clicking OK. So it would open up this tool where we can give the field label. So here we can specify, for example, complaint test. Then here you have the option to select the data type. So we'll say text with capital letters. Then you can select the length. So right now we will say 1. And here you also have an option of drop down list box. So you can input the code. For example, since we have selected the length as 1, we will say A. We can also insert another value by clicking on insert and say B. So this would essentially create us length 1 field which can store either A or B. So this is the type of field it will create. It will create a drop down with 2 values. And this generate checkbox is required to be checked, because without checking this it will not generate the field. It will only save the enhancement, but it will not generate the enhancement. And you can also have an option of giving check table or a search help for a particular field. You can also enhance it for mobile, BW reporting and R3. So depending on the field type, it would enable these options. And once the labels are given over here, you can also give a translation for that. So the translation option is available for the field label and also the labels given over here. So this is for the field label test complaint. If you minimize this, let's click expand. So here you have the option of for drop down values for A and B. So now going back, here you see a button called enable expert mode. So by enabling this expert mode, we will be able to select our field label. So few more fields will be enabled for us. For example, when I click on this extension ID, here before we didn't have this field ID enabled for our input. So this field ID will be the field name in customer H table. So if you want to give your own meaningful name, then you need to enable the expert mode and give the meaningful name. So we will give ZZ complaint test as of now, or complaint DDLB as of now. So click back. So expert mode will give you more options to select. So now click save and generate. You need to select a transport request. You can either create a transport request or choose one which is already existing. So you can choose one. To take some 2-3 minutes to generate the field. So as you saw, the wizard which we used in AET is very simple than the wizard which we used in EWB. It is straightforward. You just need to select the field type and length and click save and generate, and automatically it will generate. The only thing you need to decide here is to which part of the business object you need to add, and that is basically depending on the business scenario. So for example, here we have added to customer H. So this field is reusable in all the transaction types. But in case you add it to service underscore H, it will be only available in service transactions. Likewise, if you add it to sales underscore H, it will be only available in sales transactions. So likewise, it depends on the business scenario where you want to show this field and where all it is reused. In EHP 1 and 2, we have more options. We can add table extensions using AET, and we also have enable expert mode within the screen where we are adding the field itself. So these are the kind of enhancements which are done by SAP. Apart from this, SAP has also introduced interactive reporting framework, and you can also select whether this field is a part of interactive reporting framework or not within the AET tool. So from EHP1, SAP does not encourage us to use EWB at all. So it completely suggests us to use only AET. So now it says session is automatically restarted, close the current window. So we need to close the current window and remove the configuration tool, and automatically the session will restart. So right now what we have done, will add the field to the business object, but this particular field will not be available on the screen. So for this field to be available on the screen, we need to do a modification to the configuration and add it to the configuration. By the time it gets restarted, we can go and see the DB table. So we'll go to SC11. So like order idiom H, we have customer underscore H. All the business objects which we see like sales underscore H or service underscore H will have a table with CRMD underscore the object name. So we'll open this. So if you see, you can see the field which we added just now. ZZ complaint DDLB is the field label which we have given. In case we didn't give the field label, which is our own choice, then it will generate a field label which is similar to this ZZ AF LD. So here, if you remember, we have given a generation prefix which is A. So that's the reason it would generate every field starting with ZZ then followed by A. But in our case, since we enable the expert mode and given our own field name, it has not taken the field name which is generated by system. So you can see the data element which is generated for this. So every data element which is generated will have this extensibility generated. You can again remove it by clicking edit. Since this is a Z data element, you can remove this and activate it. This normally happens sometimes when this field is used in the change history log. So there it will show as extensibility generated, which does not look good for the end user. So we generally remove it and activate it. So you can also look at the domain. If you go to the value range, it would have our values which we have provided over there. You can also add any more values if you need to add it over here. So this is how it has generated the field. It not only enhances this particular table, it will enhance all the required structures in all the layers which are necessary for transportation of this field to UI and back and to save in the DB. Let us go back to the complaint screen. So we have added the field. Now we will add it to the configuration. So click on show configurable areas. So click on one of the area. So here we have only the standard configuration. We would create the configuration by copying the configuration. Let us take the key suggested by system. Now we have created the custom configuration, which is checked as custom config. Now click on show available fields. So here if you see, you have different context nodes over here. Unfortunately we do not have a customer H here, so we will open up PT admin H and add the field which we added through EWB. So this is the field which we added through EWB. So we'll press add field. Before pressing add field, we need to select the place where we need to add the field. So we are selecting it over here and click on plus. So this has added the field over here, and now you will be able to click on show field properties and change the label over here. So this is the same way we would follow if at all we add a field through AET also. Since here the customer H context node is not available, we are not able to add it. We will see in further classes when we talk about adding a context node to the component. We will add this customer H context node and show the details. Why customer H is not present in this particular transaction type is, as I told you, when SAP delivers the standard transaction, it will not provide any fields in customer H. So when it doesn't provide any fields in the customer H, it doesn't add the customer H context node to the component where we are showing the complaint details. So customer H is a kind of extension given only for custom usage, which is for customers. So in case we add any field as a part of customer H, what we need to do is we need to add this customer H context node to the component where we are showing this particular fields and then use it in the view. So we will look at that when we look at the technical details of the component. In the current scenario, as customer H is not available, we would try to add another field to BT admin H and show it over here. So I will save this config and close this first. So right now you can see the complaint test appearing here. So right now I am clicking on create new field again. We will select order ADM H now. So we'll give a meaningful name now. Complaint type. Here you can also select whether this field is search relevant or not. Let's say search and result list relevant. Search relevant will only add it to search criteria. Result list will only add it to result list. Search and result list will add it to search criteria plus result list. So type we will define as text with capital letter and length as 1, like the previous field. And here we will say the codes are yes for severe, then we'll click insert, M for medium, insert, L for low. So we'll go back, enable expert mode and click on complaint type again. We'll give this ZZ complaint underscore type as the field name. Click on back. We'll quickly save and generate. Choose. So as we added this to order ADM H, the field will be added to the table crmd underscore order ADM underscore H. So we will go to the DB table crmd underscore order ADM underscore H and find this field. So opening the table, Control F. So here we have that field called complaint underscore type, which we added just now. So it has added a data element which is of type char1. So if you go to the domain, you will see the value range where we have SML, which we have added just now. So we will go back. So if you want to change the label, you can change the field label over here. So right now it has given the complaint type label which we have given over there. In case in future if you want to change it, you can change it over here. You also have the option to change it in the configuration directly as well. So now going back, we'll go to VIJAY. We need to restart this session. So close this. Every time we add a new field, we need to restart the session. So opening up the complaint again. So click on show configurable areas to add the field again. As I mentioned, whenever you add a field through AET or EWB, you still need to add it to the configuration by modifying the configuration. So right now, since we have added it to BT admin H, it will be available in the show available fields. So click on show available fields, BT admin H, and search for our field. Since it is a field added through AET, it will have the label mentioned over here, and the label is complaint type. So here is the field which we added. Select complaint test and add it below it. So to add, we need to click on this plus field. So now we have added the field, and as you can see, it is already a drop down box because it is a DDLB field which we have added. DDLB stands for drop down list box. This is a shortcut which is used for drop downs. So we will save this configuration and close it. So right now you see that we have a complaint type field, and here you will be able to select severe, medium or low. So this is how the field added has come up. So click back. We will open up a complaint which is already created and modify it. So search for complaints. So I am picking one of the complaint. So we can click on edit. We can select the complaint type, severe, and save. So let's go back. So if you remember the options we selected in the AET screen, we have selected that this particular field is search and result list relevant. So for this particular field to appear in search and result list, we will go ahead and add it in the configurations. If required, we might need to create the configuration if the custom configuration is not available. So we would click on show configurable areas over here and select search area first. So we will look at the configurations available for search area or search criteria. So the configurations are all standard. So we'll create a custom configuration by copying the standard configuration, and we'll pick the keys given by system. Now we have created the custom configuration. This is the complaint type field which we can add to the search criteria. So select the field and add it to the selected search criteria. So it is appearing here. So just let's leave it like that. It will be on the top. Save and close. It will ask for a transport request, and we have provided it. So you see that the complaint type field is appearing over here. Likewise, we will also add it to the result list. So we will create a configuration by copying the standard configuration. Continue. Then you can add this complaint type field to right side, and by default when you add it to the result list, it will go to the bottom. So please give it a percentage. Maybe we can give it 12% by reducing the description by 12% and move the field a bit up. You should take care that the total percentages should add up to 100. So that's the reason I have decreased the percentage of description before increasing the percentage to complaint type. So I am just moving this field up by clicking on up button so that it is available in the available list. I will save and close. So now you see that it is appearing in the result list as well. So now come out of the configuration tool, and now you will be able to select the complaint type to search, and this will be added to the search criteria which system is searching. For example, if I select severe and search, we should be able to get the complaint which we modified just now. So likewise, if you select medium and search, you should not get any complaints. So the complaint type field which we added just now, it has been added to the complaint screen. It is relevant for search and result list, so you are able to search on that as well. So this way system has enhanced everything related to this particular field. So it is possible to search the complaints based on this field. It is possible to save this field in the complaint, and all the layers which are required for saving and searching everything, all the objects which are required are enhanced by system. So this is the beauty of AET tool. It's very simple and easy to use. So that's the reason even functional consultants and power users can also use this tool to add a field to the screen which they would like to. So to wind up this session, we would look at the differences between AET and EWB. So AET is used from 7.0, and as I told, only the field extensions are possible in 7.0. From EHP1, everything can be done in AET, so there is no use of using EWB from EHP1. And moreover, as I had mentioned, AET can enhance more applications when compared to EWB. In EWB, only few applications can be enhanced. When we talk about the comparison of features between AET and EWB, AET has definitely more features than EWB. It has a feature to add a field to CRM interactive reports and FPM integration as well. So when we talk about the target audience over here, AET is a tool which can be used by system administrator and power users as well, whereas EWB is only for technical users. Then when we talk about homogeneity, as I was saying, the wizard which is used in AET is consistent, whereas the wizard which is used in EWB is not so consistent, in the sense for every business object it keeps changing. Then in AET we have an option to add the DDLB values directly in the tool, but it is not available in EWB. And search optimization is present in only for few applications in EWB, whereas in AET we can do the search enhancement for almost all the objects. And doing the system setup is easier here. You just need to go to AXTSYS and give the package name. Here you need to go to EWC T code and do the configuration required to make EWB work. And as I had mentioned, in EHP1 we also have a migration option where we can migrate the fields from EWB to AET. And the tool AET runs based on WebUI, whereas the EWB runs in SAP GUI. Then here the software layer is Web Client UIF, whereas here it is ABAP. So as you see the recommendation in general, it is clearly recommended to use AET for new enhancements if it is supported in the install release. But still SAP is supporting EWB. As you know, SAP will always support the old tools for the backward compatibility reason. As I had mentioned, migration is available from EHP1 for EW fields to AET, but that might not be possible in all the scenarios. So the clear-cut recommendation over here is to use AET whenever it is possible. So with this note, we will end the session.